Fifth game of the day here in Salem, and, well, are you glass half full or glass half empty? The Seagulls of Salisbury, blessing or curse, they get to turn right back around after a run rule loss, either to take that taste out of their mouth or be exposed to a team that is finding its rhythm in the Bulldogs of TLU. Lincoln Rose along with Sidney Gearbracht along with our NCAA.com crew, and that's a good sign. It is a group of Seagulls apparently with a short memory after a tough loss in 5 innings to Trine, 9-1 the final. They get to turn right back around as the nature of this bracket, the Bulldogs and Seagulls collide. Bulldogs have already played for their season once today. They won emphatically as they knocked off WPI. Now Salisbury is at risk of losing 2 consecutive games and seeing their dreams come to an end at the same time. If they win here, they move on to tomorrow with an opportunity to win a couple more.
Yeah, Salisbury needing that short memory indeed, especially if they're going to be successful off of Strother, who had an incredible game earlier today. Looks like the Bulldogs are going to continue to ride her arm.
Here's Abby Mace, who led off that ball game with a double against Trine. She would be a bright spot, and she went 1 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. It is Strother who struck out 13 in that first game today, after we did not see her on Thursday. Already working her second start now of this third day in Salem. Strother, the All-American, and demonstrating why with that convincing win. But first batter she faces, Mace, shoots one up the middle. Abby Mace once again with a base hit in the first inning today. Let's see if this sets the table for a brand new ball game for Salisbury.
When Mace being so consistent in that leadoff spot, drives this ball up the middle. It's like that last game, that disappointing loss to the Thunder never even happened. Good response there from the Salisbury leadoff.
This is going to be the first game that Windsor does not start for Salisbury in the circle, but that doesn't mean she can't have her bat. As the right fielder puts one down, Strother able to retire Windsor, but Salisbury determined to play some small ball and strike first. A successful sacrifice bunt from the All-American Windsor moves Mace into scoring position.
You know, Lincoln, it's not always the best team who wins. Often the team who plays the best is the one who takes the matchup. What we've seen today is if you give a team, especially in this arena, an inch, they take a mile. So the wins have really been determined with who can give up the least amount of free passes, and if they're given a free pass, who can capitalize.
Well, of course, the first batter we'll see for TLU next half inning loves to take a mile, if not more so. As Kelly Jordan, already 4 stolen bases this week, helped create some chaos in that first game. Right now it's Seagulls. Here's Lednam. 0-2 count to her name, facing Strother, who surrendered a single to Mace up the middle. The sac bunt from Windsor. Productive at bats so far. Madison Lednam moving up from the 6th hole in the lineup in the last game. One more game after this that will involve the Warriors of Eastern, who also fought off elimination in our earlier game. And this ball out of play. Warriors eliminated Milliken in our second game of the day after TLU eliminated WPI. We still have 6 teams in contention right now. Only 2 are 2-0, as both Trine as well as CNU must be defeated tomorrow twice. The Seagulls having themselves a first inning. Lednam puts the ball into play, and safe at home, Abby Mace. Advancing on the throw is Lednam now into scoring position. That run rule may have been the best thing for the Seagulls. If they weren't going to come back from a 9-1 deficit, prolonging that game, no matter what, having to turn back around for this one. Instead, you rip that Band-Aid off and you dive right in.
And Abby Mace was going from the moment that ball was hit Again, a great piece of situational hitting, good execution, and also not possible if Windsor doesn't get her bunt down. So again, showing how those details really pay off once you got that runner in scoring position.
I mentioned Eastern plays Barry in our last game of today. That is an elimination game, as is this one. Megan Reed, the DP. She was 1 for 2 in the game a moment ago against Trine. And runner on second is Madison Lednam. She singled, but was able to take an extra 60 feet when TLU fired it home. Salisbury's already matched their run total from that last game. With one out, sky high, Brandolyn D underneath it, 2 away.
We saw some defensive miscues earlier today. Quite a few actually from Salisbury, which ultimately cost them in that last game against Trine. Seeing TLU here take care of business. We'll have to see if there's any factors that affect the defenses here tonight.
Here's Lauren Myers, who was 1 for 2 in that last game with a single. The 0-1 is tight. Runner in a pickle, that's your inning. Lednam, a little too aggressive. Goes for third, is out. Hopefully she's okay. That is your final out of an otherwise promising first inning for the Seagulls. Tagged right on the beak. We head into the home half of the first. Bulldogs to the plate.
Starting pitcher for the Seagulls this evening with a record of 17 victories, atop 2 defeats, number 26, Savannah Sheets.
Fifth game of championship caliber softball coming your way here on NCAA.com. Home half of the first. Bulldogs fans were up early. A convincing win to get the day started, as they would ultimately end the run here in 2022 of WPI, a 6-0 final. I wouldn't say there were ever any big hits for the Bulldogs. It's just the moment they got a base runner, they decided they wanted to score.
Yeah, the Bulldog offense did a really great job of being consistent. Didn't need the big hit, or didn't need the long ball rather, but they were able to execute well when they had runners in scoring position, took care of details, and took care of business to get the win here.
Kelly Jordan, the All-American, the greatest base stealer in all of Division III in her career, and currently tied for the most stolen bases in a single season in Division III. She's already stolen 4 through the first 2 ball games. Left side, Paoli, got to be perfect. Jordan is on. How long will it take for her to take 60 more feet? You just cannot.
Again, we've seen it all day today. I'm not sure what it's in the air, but the middle infield for multiple teams now, it feels like they're sitting on that. I'm not sure if that ball is playing really hard off the dirt. There's potential for that. But there's also, you know, these teams are taking their infield, so they have an idea of how the field's playing.
So Maddie Johnson, more often than not, probably gives Kelly Jordan a pitch to try to move down to second. And if you need to be careful, even on that throwback to the pitcher, you cannot then just assume Jordan's not going. 73 stolen bases this year would be a single season, or pardon me, is the single season mark that she has tied for already. She is eyeing stolen base number 74.
And we saw some different players get picked off or get called out for leaving early, and One of the kickers you'll see with people who get a great jump is they're actually looking to leave once the pitcher's foot hits the ground rather than.
Johnson's bunt only plays at first. There is no play to be made. Speed City, Seguin, Texas. And Salisbury called for a timeout immediately, and that prevented Jordan from thinking about taking third base. Jordan is on, Johnson is on. Anybody else, and that's an out at first. A successful sacrifice. And again, I apologize for the disrespect. We haven't even mentioned Savannah Sheets is in the circle for the start here for Salisbury. But when you see Jordan in the lineup, as you've already seen, there's reason for the attention. Here's Casey Martin. Jordan will take third, and with that, the record. 74 stolen bases in a single season. It's already her 5th here in Salem in a little over 2 ball games. The record is all her own. Already the owner of the career mark.
And Jordan again getting a great jump, making sure that she's taking her lead. When Sheets' foot hits the ground, that front foot there is not enough. The human eye cannot distinguish between when that foot hits the ground and the ball is released. It's really what we're taught to look for.
243 career stolen bases. A double steal with Johnson. And that pitch will miss outside of the batter, Casey Martin.
Jordan and Johnson doing a good job again. That consistent 1-2 punch for the Bulldogs.
Right back to the pitcher, Sheets. Looks back Jordan, and to her credit, did a good enough job looking back Jordan that she actually stayed. That's your first out.
Number 44, Kylie Jack.
We saw Kylie Jack as a pinch hitter in their ball game earlier today. What was that, 4 games ago? She comes up here from the left side. Kelly Jordan on third, your tying run. Maddie Johnson on second, a potential lead for TLU here in the first. With 1 out, Kylie Jack at the plate. It's Faith Hernandez on deck. Count 0-2 to Jack. In Sheets in the circle for the Seagulls. Goddard chasing. Did she get a piece of it? I'll say yes.
Well, in Sheets, a 1-2 punch with Lindsey Windsor, who we saw from last game, shouldering a number of innings, 17-2 on the year. Not going to be quite as dominant with strikeouts as what we see from Windsor. Going to rely on her defense a bit more in order to get the outs.
2 runners in scoring positions for the Bulldog. They're trailing by a run here in the first inning. For Salisbury at the moment, it looks like, again, completely erased their memory of their game a moment ago, have reshifted their focus. With 1 out, the 2-2. Again, this is where being behind schedule caught up, and ultimately it has cost Salisbury. Usually, you lose that game in Game 4, and yes, you are the first game up, but that's the next day.
Right.
Because the two, what we have seen, distinct brackets do eventually cross, and this is the game in which they cross. As Sheets has been able to lay off a couple now and work the count full. Kelly Jordan got this ball game started, promptly worked her way around. She and Maddie Johnson were on for the double steal. They're currently both on in scoring position. Back to the pitcher, Jack. And you're going to have some runners in trouble. Jordan comes home. Kelly Jordan, you could look her back once, but not twice. It's a tied ball game. She reached on an error and has already made the Seagulls pay.
And great heads up base running there from Kelly Jordan, doing what she can to push a run across.
You know who knew she was going was Johnson. Johnson didn't mind taking third. She knew what Kelly was doing.
Seen it enough times to know how that story ends.
Most teams you'd be screaming, no, you've got 2 runners on third. No sweat. Here's Faith Hernandez, your shortstop for TLU. See if they can find a run. As that go-ahead run right now, 60 feet away, in the form of Maddie Johnson. It's Faith Hernandez and Laura Hernandez. Next 2 hitters for the Bulldogs. As an RBI ground out for Kylie Jack. A rope, but foul.
And Faith Hernandez has stepped up as one of the younger players on this team, a freshman. Her bat has been a pleasant surprise coming in. She's been a mainstay at shortstop. She's been able to perform well for this Bulldog offense.
The 1-2 from Savannah Sheets. And TLU played in the first game today, the first of 6 scheduled. We're in the midst of the 5th game. We've seen a little bit of everything. These are the first 2 teams we've seen twice today, only one of whom will be playing softball tomorrow. Paoli just needs 1. Got it. But not before Kelly Jordan reaches on an error. Ultimately touches every base on her way home to tie this ball game and to set the stolen base single season record along the way. We're level at 1. Well, last time we saw the Bulldogs, that was the sunrise. As penultimate game on the day here at Moyer Sports Complex. Each team plating a run. Reason for optimism in that first inning. And Ashlyn Strother already a complete game victory with 13 strikeouts with their season on the line earlier today. Has it been enough rest for her to come through again here this evening? This is Lauren Myers, who is at the plate after that running miscue. So she gets a fresh at bat after Lednam was tagged out at third to end last inning. So Myers, Paoli, and Stockman due up. Brandolyn D over to Laura Hernandez, 1 away.
Batting 6, shortstop, number 5, Natalie Paoli.
Brings up the 3rd-team All-American, Natalie Paoli, out of Wilmington, Delaware. And hitting around .350 on the year with 5 home runs. Your Conference Scholar Athlete of the Year in the Coast to Coast. Paoli, the final out in that run rule loss to Trine a moment ago. Boy, Lindsey Windsor did her best to extend that one. A shot off the top of the wall would score 1. Had it been a foot higher, they might still be playing. So it would have bought him at least 3 more outs, as this is another souvenir foul. So TLU already came into today knowing that their season was on the line. They survived their first elimination game after suffering their earliest loss in their 3 years here in the championship. And they were your national champions in 2019, your national runner-up last year on this field to Virginia Wesleyan. They're able to force a game 3 in that best of 3 game series against the Marlins. Now your 3-time champs, who saw their season this year come to an end against CNU. Salisbury knows all about CNU. Same conference, the coast to coast. Full count. And what Ashlyn Strother probably does not want is a high pitch count in this ball game. While she relied on the strikeout earlier today, she might appreciate a few ground ball outs sprinkled in. She'll take this if it stays inside the confines, and that one looked like it was playable, as Brandolyn D and Sarah Metzer were both there. And I believe, though I had slightly obstructed vantage point, that ball could have been caught.
Definitely a playable ball. Again, one of those miscues that you want to take care of as much as possible, because you're now giving a very talented hitter on this Seagulls offense an opportunity to see another one.
D makes up for it with a backhanded stab across the diamond to Hernandez. I was going to say Salisbury was due some second chances after what they endured against Trine, but Brandolyn D made up for a miscue a moment ago with this flashing of the leather.
Truly serendipitous there for the Bulldog defense, and a great play by D. Not going to let that one pass by her twice.
One pitch later, sky high out to Jordan in left. Got it. So a much calmer inning in the top of the second as the Seagulls go in order against the All-American Strother. Bulldogs back at the plate. 6, 7, and 8 hitters due up. Never get tired staring off in the distance here at Salem. Well, we've got some pretty good stuff to look at right down below. Championship caliber softballs. Savannah Sheets looking to go toe-to-toe with an All-American in the circle in the other half of the inning. Sheets, again, the junior. Twice All-Conference in her career already. Here's Laura Hernandez. Out of the 6th spot in this lineup, that is a foul ball. Gatita out there in left for Salisbury, also swinging a bat. She'll be in the lineup. We'll see her next half inning. As Gatita in left, Mace in center, your pitcher from the last game, Lindsey Windsor in right. Right now, Sheets focused on Laura Hernandez, leading off here in the bottom of the second. Bulldogs have the benefit of being the home team. The 1-1. Only hit so far for TLU was from Macy Johnson. Kelly Jordan had reached last inning on an error. 2 of them with synchronized stolen bases. Jordan with her 74th on the year. Nobody wanted to talk about Macy's stolen base. Sheets making Hernandez wait. Coming up the 2-2 with nobody out, nobody on. Count goes full.
Sheets really coming at Hernandez. 3 inside pitches, daring Hernandez to turn on it.
Payoff pitch. It's a leadoff walk. Second straight inning that the Bulldogs able to get their first batter on.
The catcher, number 20, Sarah Metzer.
Again, Sarah Metzer already with fond memories here. A home run last year as they would make their way to the championship final, playing the final game, forcing the if necessary game against Virginia Wesleyan. Puts down a bunt. Every time I talk about a talented hitter that we've seen this week who's hit home runs, they immediately square around to bunt to show off how much of a team player they are and their versatility. Sacrifice there. Moves Hernandez to second.
Gotta remove your ego, especially if you know you've got the bat to be able to produce. And yet when coach asks, need you to put down a sac bunt, need you to move your runner, good teammates, unselfish teammates, follow the game plan.
With Hernandez in scoring position, they will run for her with Kirsten Williams, who's had success already today as a pinch runner. When the Bulldogs bunt, they're not playing for a one-run inning. They are playing to torment you and put up a crooked number. A credit to the Seagulls for getting at least the out there. Here's Chastity Rains out of the 8th spot. And Kirsten Williams, now your runner on second, potential go-ahead run for the Bulldogs. And Seagulls are going to catch a break, presumably here. Fouled out in the glove of Myers. 2 away. Savannah Sheets able to get the foul out. Just needs one more out to strand a runner in scoring position.
Batting ninth, third base, number 8, Brandolyn D.
And what a job by Brandolyn D. Last half inning at third base. Tremendous snag, and then the easy part was the throw across the diamond. He's your number 9 hitter here for TLU. That one foul out of play. D was 0 for 2 earlier today in that elimination contest against WPI. It was Jack who pinch hit for her and singled in that 7th inning. Quick turnaround for Salisbury after the run rule 9-1 loss to Trine, between two teams that won on the opening day in extra innings. TLU, while they probably didn't want to turn right back around and play, they had a lot of momentum coming out of that game against WPI. Probably had to sit a little bit longer than they would have liked. But the only teams that have been able to control their destiny have been Trine and CNU so far. They are done for the day. D will poke this into the gap and right. That's going to bring the go-ahead run home in Williams. Kirsten Williams has given the Bulldogs a 2-1 advantage on the 2-out RBI base hit from Brandolyn D. That's your 9 hitter coming through.
Well, it's so important that D knows what job she's got to do, has an idea of where her runner is. Again, chooses a great pitch. Not even a full swing there from D. Just able to poke it through. And a long single does the job to push one across.
And here is someone that I feel like we've talked about. Kelly Jordan, back at the top of the order. D, doing her best Jordan impression, is safe, though the bag itself might be retired. That bag has been stolen so many times this week. Yeah, got to the bag first. That would be the only way to really make this a fair sport with Kelly Jordan on the base paths, is if the bags could try to elude her. Jordan at the plate. D has stolen second. Jordan will be able to push one through. Runners on the corners, and you know Jordan's going to try to take second. Although their coaches are telling her to put on the stop sign and stay right there.
Right fielder, number 4, Madison Johnson.
You can probably expect a stolen base from Jordan, but good little piece of hitting. Pokes it right through the 5-6 hole. Again, the Bulldogs not needing to do too much here. Not feeling like they need to press offensively. Staying true to how they generate and manufacture runs as a club. Seeing them continue that work they were up to this morning.
Well, with the infield pulled in, second base is vulnerable for Jordan for her 75th stolen base on the year. They'll throw it back to the pitcher. Jordan will take her time, hoping they'll throw it. But for Jordan, that's her 5th stolen base of the week. As the incredible journey continues.
You have to admire the tenacity of Jordan. I'm not one who loves to get myself in a pickle, so the fact that Kelly Jordan is ready and willing to get into a pickle at any time.
Over the right side, snag. They need the out. They're not going to get it, and it's going to cost them 2 runs. Kelly Jordan scores from second, following Brandolyn D home. Maddie Johnson comes through, puts a ball in play, and they're back to playing Bulldog softball.
Well, again, we've talked about it all day, how important it is to just put the ball in play. You don't need the long ball. You don't need the ball off the wall. Just force the defense to make a great play. Again, some miscues here from the Seagulls.
A runner just scored from second on that play. It's a 3-run bottom of the second. This damage with 2 outs. The moment you gave Kelly Jordan access to the bases, she will abuse that kindness. Johnson now your run on first. Casey Martin will shoot this out to center. Mace underneath it, and there's the 3rd out. But not before the Bulldogs of TLU do what the Bulldogs of TLU do. Around the bases they go. Speed on display, and it's a 3-run lead in this elimination game.
Left on base through 2 complete here to the Texas Lutheran order. She's back at first defensively for the Bulldogs. Again, Laura Hernandez returns to first base.
A lot of great softball on display today. Different teams win in a variety of fashion. As 2 teams have already gone home today. We began today with 8. We're going to end it with 4. Bulldogs hoping they're still among the 4. Same with the Seagulls here of Salisbury. As 1 pitch is all it will take to retire Carly Galbraith in her first at-bat of the day. As she sends one out to Johnson and right.
Galbraith has an idea of what she's looking for, so I don't have a problem with that choice.
Is Maddie Johnson the heir apparent one day to Kelly Jordan? Is she the understudy for speed softball?
Some aggressive hacks we have the Seagulls taking. We like to see that even with their back up against the wall a little bit.
Katita was the flex last game. Playing in left, she gets to swing the bat here.
So if you're going to see that pitch again, because that's the same pitch in the same spot, got to adjust your bat angle. Do what you can to slice that ball in half at a downward angle. Give yourself a little bit of a better look at it. Better chance to square it up.
Look, I know if you're Ashlyn Strother, you have a certain style that has earned you All-American. With the runs that the Bulldogs have given you, have to make it perhaps a little less critical in her mind that she's got to blow them by you, and I say that, it's what she does. If Kelly Jordan's going to steal bases, Strother's going to get strikeouts for her resume.
And again, Strother not trying to do too much. Daring this Seagulls offense. I'm going to put it in the same spot, and you got to prove to me that you can hit it. That's it. That's inches from where the first 2 swing and misses in that at bat were placed.
She threw 109 pitches earlier today, 73 for strikes for 13 strikeouts. Again, they've got a good secondary pitcher in Wallette, who we saw get the start on Thursday. Strother's been spotted a lead. I'm not sure she has surrendered many 3-run leads this year. Abby Mace in the top of the order. Mace 1 for 1 today with a single. She has scored the only run thus far for the Seagulls after her teammates successfully brought her around. The 1-2. Got the bat around on that one, but fell. Again, Mace, first-team All-American, going up against a first-team All-American pitcher. NFCA announced those honors this week, just before we got underway here in Salem. No strangers to All-Americans guiding their team to this final stage. As again, foul to the literally opposite field. Salisbury's job is to just keep having an answer every time the Bulldogs score. Easier said than done. With 2 outs trying to extend this top of the 3rd inning. Each team scored 1 in the first. Salisbury held without a run in the second. Bulldogs answered with 3, including that woman crossing the plate. I said she had 5 stolen bases this week. Kelly Jordan already was 6. Mace pokes one to center, but on a line to Raines. It's a 3-up, 3-down response for Ashlyn Strother, who has now retired 7 in a row with the help of her defense. Bulldogs back to the dugout, bats back in hand for the bottom of the 3rd.
Retired in order in the top half of the 3rd inning. Now batting for Texas Lutheran in the bottom of the 3rd, designated player number 4.
Wish you were here. Postcard weather.
The keys.
And a few fans who didn't buy tickets.
So I'm getting made fun of here in the press box because I have never seen geese
Plural.
flying across.
You said you've seen
like
a
this.
goose.
Actually, now that I think about it, I think I've seen swans.
Yeah, that's your first. Oh, okay.
I got to brush up on my birds.
I've seen ugly ducklings. Sydney Sheets back in the circle. Sydney Gearbrack back with the headset on. Lincoln Rose along for the ride. As Jack, pardon me, I said Sydney Sheets, Savannah Sheets. A lot of alliteration going on. Savannah, the junior out of Warwick, Maryland. And she has Jack in an 0-2 hole. And Jack came through in a pinch hit opportunity earlier today. Came through back in the 1st inning. An RBI ground out. That's not usually an RBI ground out, but Kelly Jordan has a way of helping other people's stats. And I get it, if you're tuning in and you're not cheering for TLU and you happen to be cheering for whoever their opponent is, it sounds like we are just piling on, but it is incredible the display we have seen. It's the reason why the Bulldogs are the only team back from last year, let alone 3 straight championship years, winning that title in 2019.
And truly, we did not see the Bulldog offense that we were used to seeing in that first game of this tournament. And they've really done a great job of turning it around, starting to play true to their brand of softball. It's been really fun to watch.
The 2-2. Jack pulls this one, snagged by Myers. She'll touch the bag, and that's 1-1. Jack, your DP, will wait for her next at bat. Gives way to the shortstop, Faith Hernandez. Most of these athletes are pretty good at staying in the moment. Sydney Sheets with a smile. Pardon me, Savannah Sheets. Sydney, you've just been too good this week.
There's a lot of Sydneys, actually, across the teams. I have noticed that.
How many spellings?
Just one.
Okay.
Sydney like Australia.
The right way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hot tip for all of you Sydneys out there. You'll never get a coffee order incorrect. You say Sydney like Australia, they'll know what you mean every time.
Oh, then it's going to be Sally on the cup.
Stop it. Not everyone can be named Lincoln.
1 ball, 1 strike. Yeah, good luck spelling that on a coffee cup. L-I-N followed by panic. That's why I don't drink coffee. The 1-1. You're just bringing up traumatic moments from the past. Savannah Sheets trying to work a quick inning here, get the Seagulls back to the plate. And as Faith Hernandez with Laura Hernandez on deck. She'll shoot it to her counterpart, Paoli. 2 up, 2 down.
No, when the Bulldogs aren't successful, you're seeing their timing is just a little bit off. So we're seeing Faith Hernandez, who was successful against other pitching today, I believe she had a double and an RBI. Usually someone who produces, or at least able to get on base.
Laura Hernandez re-entered defensively last half inning, goes right back to Paoli. Rinse and repeat. It's a quick 3 up, 3 down for the Gulls, just what the Seagulls needed. As they remain within striking distance, down by 3. The All-American Lindsey Windsor set to lead things off in the 4th.
Score, Texas Lutheran 4, Salisbury 1. Now batting for Salisbury.
Bulldogs of TLU. We have mentioned the only team back from last year's field of 8, although it's going to be a tougher path. With that said, everybody enjoying themselves, taking in quality softball. Maybe a little bit too much sun for our guy John. I appreciate to all of our crew. Look, they had on their calendar that they might be working some 4-game days. And that's the loudest laugh I got so far, unfortunately, because today, 6 games on the schedule. And while no team is playing more than 2, and some teams are just playing once, we appreciate the crew here on NCAA.com and certainly all the volunteers who make this possible. The biggest of which, of course, that field has looked brand new before each and every game. The crew here at Moyer Sports Complex, fantastic. Is the reason, in part, why Salem continues to win the bid for this event. There have already been 4.5 games on that field.
You would never know.
As for the announcers, count 2-2.
Now, I will say, one of the things my coaches said growing up were, I'm going to give you 5 minutes to complain about the weather, and then you're going to be done because it's hot for everybody. And, you know, I think we could easily sit here and complain about having to call 6 games today, and the athletes are having to wait and deal with different conditions.
Absolutely.
Some people playing in the morning, some people playing at night. So
that's why I'm not going to complain about the weather.
Well, needless to say, it's been a fun day out here in Salem, and we're appreciative of all of the crews and all the different people who make the magic happen here, not only for us, but for our student athletes.
Strother in the circle, the 2-2 to Windsor. Again, one All-American facing another. Windsor, a very capable pitcher in her own right, but today you're the right fielder in this game. My problem is I think we're enjoying 6 games almost too much, and they might consider a reformat in future years, starting next year in Texas. Windsor hit the top of the wall with her ball at the end of last game. This one a little higher, a little shorter. Kelly Jordan underneath it, 1 away.
You know, Lincoln, you can't put a price on professionalism.
Third base, number 17.
Doesn't that make it amateurism? As again, Strother retires Windsor. That's a big out. Now here's Madison Lednam, who singled back in the first inning, 1 for 1 in this ball game. Hernandez able to get it to Laura Hernandez. That's a ball that we've seen so many people struggle with, and you almost just expect it's going to be an issue again, but no, Faith Hernandez comes through.
I would say the least amount of, or the second to most amount of errors we've seen other than at second base has been at short. Middle infield has been a bit of a struggle today for quite a few teams, but Faith Hernandez is able to field that cleanly and get the out off that first pitch for second out.
Here's Megan Reed. A bloop. Hernandez, that might be too tall of a task. I say that. Apologies to Faith Hernandez for questioning that arm. Wow. That ball took forever to get to Hernandez, but she fires a dart across the diamond.
Texas Lutheran 4, Salisbury 1.
Savannah Sheets back in the circle. Seagulls unable to chip away at a 3-run deficit as we move on to the home half of the 4th inning. Perhaps some future Bulldogs and future Seagulls taking this one in. Sarah Metzer leading things off, put down a sacrifice bunt successfully back in the 2nd inning. This one down the line, but foul. Wade Wilson knew that she wasn't off by much on that, just a little too far ahead of that pitch. Bottom 3rd of the order for the Bulldogs. It's already produced 1 run today. Katita out there in left. Just tracking that one down in foul territory a moment ago. Vanna Sheets quickly back in the circle. That's a Bulldogs team that, after a loss on Thursday, unable to get that taste out of their mouth yesterday with no game, as Myers squeezes it in from Metzer. 1 away.
Center fielder, number 6, Chastity Raines.
And Meyer doing a good job over there at first. Every ball that's come to her thus far, she's been able to make a play cleanly. Maybe one exception. There was a bit of a kerfuffle miscommunication with that big inning that TLU had.
Chastity Raines, last year's Elite 90 award winner for having the best academic resume. I suspect it didn't dip too much, but we had 4 athletes tied with a 4.0 coming into this week on these 8 teams. The tiebreaker was the number of credits already successfully secured. Nobody on. The 1-1 from Sheets. If just one player for TLU can get on here this inning, that will allow Kelly Jordan in the top of the order for the Bulldogs to rear their head in the bottom of the 4th. And Jessica Golden last year for Virginia Wesleyan in that national championship pursuit. We witnessed the top individual season base stealer, as we were treated in that championship series to the 2 finest, and Golden as well as Jordan. The payoff pitch to Raines. And that ball booted. Raines is on.
Yeah, not many mistakes you can make in the infield and recover from with Raines.
It is a hit for Chastity Raines, and you cannot assume even for a moment that you can take your eye off that ball.
Number 8, Brandolyn D.
Now here's Brandolyn D. An RBI single, stolen base, run scored. First they're going to talk things over. And they have called D back. There are a couple of likely reasons, none of which would have a non-existent count. I'm sorry, no, Raines.
The only thing I can think of might have happened is maybe he stepped out of the box.
Yeah. The reason why I'm hesitating is they only have 1 out on the board, but clearly there's got to be 2 outs. Yeah, Chastity Raines is out. So Brandolyn D at the plate. An RBI single back in the 2nd. And yeah, just had to have had a foot outside the box, which the tolerance for has completely disappeared these past few seasons. Two and two. So Savannah Sheets, is her goal, get a 1-2-3 inning for a second straight inning. And you can deal with that top of the Bulldogs order in the fifth. That one was coming in on D. And it fights it off. Sheets just shy of 60 pitches right now. 3 2/3 inning of work, 3 earned runs, no strikeouts and a walk. Again, the 2-2. Whipping her bat around on this one. Katita underneath it. And that is a 3-up, 3-down inning once again for the Seagulls. Can they finally have an answer and chop away at a 3-run deficit? Top of the fifth coming up. Back here at Moyer Sports Complex on the championship field. 5th game of the day, 9th game of the week. As Strother back in the circle, they haven't been able to build on the lead, but she has not allowed the Seagulls to trim that deficit. Currently up by 3. Lauren Myers 0 for 1 today against the All-American. Back at the plate to lead things off. Seagulls, just like the Bulldogs, have gone down in order the past couple of innings. In fact, Seagulls have not had a base runner since the first inning when they scored. There's a promising start for Salisbury after the run rule loss to Trine about 20 minutes earlier.
And hopefully Myers can support in generating offensively for the Seagulls, as she's been outstanding defensively thus far this game.
The 1-2. In Strother, 107 pitches earlier today. Now in her second start of the day, looking for her second season-saving win. Already 46 pitches into this one. As this one will carry, but ultimately it'll be a foul out to Jordan. That's now 11 straight Seagulls retired.
Natalie Paoli.
Of course, the Seagulls at this point in their last game were down to their final 2 outs. It was 9-1, or pardon me, it was 9-0. It did find 1 run. Needed at least 1 more to extend that ball game. Instead, it's Trine and CNU who are spectators the rest of tonight. We'll be back tomorrow. Each team could play as few as 1 game. They do not play each other. They will each play a survivor from today, and each need to be defeated by that team twice to deny them a brand new slate in the best of 3 game series. Again, we enter tomorrow down to 4 teams, 2 of which at a disadvantage. But at least you're still playing softball. We've mentioned some of these teams might be built well enough with their pitching to come out of the elimination bracket. Either of these teams could potentially be a candidate to do so. They count full with 1 out to Paoli.
And I know we've really been impressed with the Bulldog offense and with Kelly Jordan, not to overshadow the incredible performance by the All-American Strother, who's been consistently keeping the Seagulls on their toes. Only 2 hits so far for Salisbury.
Paoli was robbed of a base hit by Faith Hernandez at short back in the 2nd inning. So 0 for 1 today in this ball game. Payoff pitch, and she's just fighting them off till she can finally maybe jump on a mistake from the All-American. Sarah Metzer, battery mate of Strother. Surrendered a run in the first. Bulldogs have settled in with Strother in the circle ever since then. Again, the 3-2, got her. Just the 2nd strikeout today, but Ashlyn Strother, boy, enthusiastic response.
And Strother again throwing her game, really using both the outside corner and her rise ball, starting that pitch at the waist, ending it at the letters. Great swing and miss pitch there.
So here's Emily Stockman, your catcher. 0 for 1 today in this ball game. She's trying to make every out count here with 2 outs and nobody on. Seagulls 1 run on 2 hits, all of that in the 1st inning. "12 straight have been retired now by Strother in this Bulldogs defense. One and 2. It's the top of the order due up for TLU in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Got her. So Ashlyn Strother, who had 13 strikeouts earlier today, just had 1 coming into this inning. She caps the 5th inning with back-to-back strikeouts. As she will head back to the dugout, the Bulldogs looking to grow a 3-run lead in the. No bad vantage point here in Salem. Savannah Sheets back in the circle, 4 innings of work, 3 earned runs. Thrown 62 pitches thus far. Just needs more support from her bats.
Leading off the bottom of the 5th inning for
You want to say her name?
left fielder, number 26.
Kelly Jordan.
Yeah. I felt like I had hit the quota.
Your attention, please, also
Yeah, Kelly Jordan leading this,
for Salisbury.
I believe, the 3rd round
Stockman now at first base.
Bulldog offense
Seagulls.
against Savannah Sheets.
She has reached on an error and scored. She has singled and scored. Each time stole a base along the way. And this should make her 2 for 2, rather 2 for 3. She is safe.
I was going to say, if there was a time in this
I apologize if we're not surprised. If there is no enthusiasm on this whatsoever, Kelly Jordan.
Right fielder, number 4.
Well, that's one of the benefits of being a slapper, right? You have an idea of where your defense is going. You know how to use the ground. You use the, using the tools available to you, which Jordan has done all year long.
Tell your kids you remember when Kelly Jordan was standing on first. She'll have to stay there a little bit longer as Johnson pops up the bunt over to Lednam. "75 stolen bases this year. That's the D3 record. She has it. 6 this week already. Here's Casey Martin trying to advance the All-American. 76 stolen bases for Kelly Jordan, as she continues to just extend her own single-season mark in Division III.
Kelly Jordan just confident, gets a good jump, trust yourself. That's half the battle with stealing bases. Got to get a good jump. You got to trust yourself to get there.
I believe that puts her at 245 for her career.
Wouldn't be surprised if we see her steal another bag here.
Ludicrous. Throw it down. They got her. No. And Jordan pointing out, bases are moving. Oh, did not make contact with the tag there. They almost had her. That tag never applied.
Yeah, Paoli was too busy trying to keep the ball in her glove. Really couldn't even apply a tag. Does a good job selling it.
Honestly, if that tag is applied, the ball's probably coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So close to catching Jordan. And let's see if they review this. This will look like she's out. What you won't see is that tag never appears to actually hit Jordan based on the other angle we'll see. I say that. I welcome being wrong if the video proves otherwise. This will also be a deceptive angle. A fantastic throw from Stockman. A great effort for the shortstop, remember, coming over trying to apply the tag, and Natalie Paoli, the All-American. But correct me if I'm wrong, that leather at no point ever gets any part of the shoe, leg, thigh.
Well, the only thing I can think of is if Paoli thinks that she tagged the hand of Jordan.
The elbow is your only hope. And again, the problem is Jordan's called safe initially, and it might be hard to overturn that if you think maybe it hit her elbow.
Mm-hmm. And potentially, I think Jordan also gestured to the bag that the bag was maybe moving, so by the time that bag moves, the ball is dead.
Yeah. Well, you got several angles.
And again, folks, for just joining us, we have an off-site crew in Pittsburgh where teams get 2 opportunities per game. If they don't use it, they lose it. And then officials are able to get support with their calls from the 6th inning on. Make sure there's no game-winning or losing calls that we're not absolutely sure.
Also, if you're just joining us, come on.
I mean, some people might be.
5th game of the day, second involving these 2 teams. You've heard the broadcasters with their speculation that does not matter one bit, as has been the case with every review ever. Just hoping to give a little insight on what's going through the minds. It's a stress-free gig for these umpires. They just relay what they're told. Out.
Ooh.
Which means the tag had to have been applied to that elbow. They saw enough, and Jordan's caught stealing. She's 6 for 7 and human. Look, Natalie Paoli was visibly upset that it was deemed not out initially, so she must have really felt like she got contact on Jordan, which only could have been on that elbow before Jordan reached the bag.
Well, Paoli certainly sold it. And you'd love to see passion on the field, especially if you think you've made the play, made the tag.
That's a big out. You had Kelly Jordan standing on third with 1 out. Chance to get out of this inning. Without any damage. We've already had the geese depart this evening. Now we've got a mother hawk, very protective of a couple of her offspring, starting to circle around the field with her red tail.
I need to brush up on my bird knowledge next year.
Seagulls are in burgundy. Bulldogs can't fly. Unless it's around the bases. 2 outs, nobody on. Payoff pitch coming up from Savannah Sheets. Jordan led off this inning with a single, stole second. Emily Stockman fired one down, caught her stealing third, with Paoli coming over from shortstop to make the catch and apply the tag. Easier said than done. Still not that easy to say.
Probably satisfying for Stockman to get one of the more crafty base runners out, especially on this stage.
That one poked off the glove of Lednam, so it's a fair ball. And the Bulldogs have another base runner here in the fifth with 2 away.
And a really good effort there by Lednam, but a hard hit ball.
So a single for Martin. Let's see what Wade Wilson has in mind. It's going to be a pinch hitter for Kylie Jack in the DP spot. Jack had an RBI ground out in the first, ground out again in the third. This will be Bailey Hudgens, who's been in the starting lineup the first 2 games.
Pinch hitting for Texas Lutheran, number 12, Bailey Hudgens. Hudgens now batting for the Bulldogs.
Comes up with 2 outs and a runner on first. That runner, Casey Martin, with the 1 out, or pardon me, the 2 out single a moment ago. Hudgens pokes this one out towards right. Tracking it down is Windsor. That's your inning. Well, entertaining at times, but in the end, a goose egg on the board, thanks to the defense of the Seagulls. As we are now through 5, moving on to the top of the 6th. Comeback begins now for Salisbury. Bulldogs and Seagulls, each with a loss this week. They got here, though, via different paths. Salisbury woke up today 1-0. The Bulldogs of TLU were 0-1. Bulldogs picked up their first win, facing elimination earlier today. Instead, they knocked off WPI. Seagulls ran into Trine after both teams won in extra innings on day 1. A run rule loss to the Thunder. As we'll have a change here in the 8th spot, batting for Carly Galbraith. It's going to be Emily Challender. Second time we've seen the pride of Lumberton, New Jersey, the freshman. Hitting .389 with a home run and 5 RBI coming into this week. So Challender in the 8th spot. Katita is on deck, followed by the top of the order, led by Abby Mace. Ashlyn Strother has retired 13 straight Seagulls, including a couple of strikeouts to end last inning. And a hit batter will end that streak. How about for pinch hitting performance?
You know, as a pinch hitter, you're brought in to do whatever you can to generate some momentum for your team. And also important, if there's a ball coming at you, do not get out of the way.
No.
Protect yourself, of course.
Do not trust your instincts.
Do not get out of the way. Let the ball hit you. Take your base.
What Wade Wilson has in mind here, it's a 3-run lead. Base runner has reached. And now he's just, I think, good old-fashioned, hey, ask for help. Did anybody see something else? Otherwise, was there a failure in a lineup protocol would be the other thing, but I don't think you'd be going to your help for that.
Coach might have been seeing if there was a bit of a lean into the ball with that back leg. And very natural as a timing mechanism for you to start that back leg if you're taking a pitch. So, might just be part of the game.
I think we got a good old-fashioned nope, as it looks like the status quo. So Challenger stays on first. A few facial expressions tend to give the outcome away. All right, Francesca Katita due up. They are going to bat for her with Sydney Duplessi, who spells it correctly.
Your attention, please. Pinch hitting for Salisbury in the number 9 position, number 11, Sydney Duplessi. Duplessi now batting for the Seagulls.
Duplessi, the senior out of Millersville, Pennsylvania, making her 25th appearance on the year. And now Wade Wilson consulting our umpire again. Bulldogs have already survived elimination once. Their reward, if they survive tonight, would be having to win 2 more games tomorrow, while only having to lose once to deny them entry back into their 3rd straight final series. So the pinch hitter Duplessis with nobody out. The runner on first being Challenger, who as a pinch hitter was hit by pitch. Get one more runner on, and you've got the tying run coming to the plate with the top of the order in Abby Mace. We never know the limits of some of these amazing pitchers who can be dominant. Again, Strother earlier today was a strikeout pitcher with 13. She has 3 strikeouts here this evening, but already was over 107 pitches before this game began today.
Well, and you always get the question of people who aren't familiar with the game, you know, how can softball pitchers throw so many innings or throw so many pitches? And that underarm arm circle, or underhand arm circle rather, is much more orthopedically sound than what we see from our baseball counterparts.
The phrase often is natural motion, but there still are limits.
Absolutely.
Unless you're Whitney Canyon.
Center fielder, number 18, Abby Mace.
As Strother with her 4th strikeout, as we dare talk about her limits. 1 away. Her 17th strikeout today through 2 games. All right, Abby Mace, top of the order. First team All-American, Player of the Year out of the Coast to Coast Athletic Conference. "16 home runs, 51 RBI coming into this week. And she can make this a 1-run affair if Strother makes a mistake. Salisbury would love another piece of C&U. And Mace will send this off into the evening. It is gone. It's a 1-run ball game here in Salem. 17th home run trot this year for the All-American, Abby Mace. Challenger comes home to score, as it is 4-3.
And Abby Mace, from the moment this ball leaves Strother's hand, knows exactly that she's taking it out. Big swing there.
And that should get everybody in that Seagulls dugout fired up for each and every pitch the rest of the way. Oh, by the way, another All-American, Lindsey Windsor. She hasn't pitched in this ball game. He's 0 for 1 with a sacrifice bunt.
Windsor getting a lot of recognition for her role in the circle, but an incredible athlete, huge contributor for this Salisbury offense. And, you know, you could argue it might be difficult after a disappointing loss for her to bounce back, but she was in it all the way through. Actually tried to put her team back in it
She was a
after
couple
that
feet
run rule.
shy of her 9th home run. See if she can come through here to tie it up. Johnson has a read on it. That's a big out, 2 away.
And still Windsor seeing the ball well.
Third base, number 17.
Making good choices. What more can you ask for? Sometimes it just doesn't go your way.
Home run from Mace, scores 2. Windsor retired. Doesn't get much easier. Here's your number 3 hitter in the lineup, Lednam. 1 for 2 today against the Bulldogs. Bulldogs getting it out of their system right now with nobody on base. They'll get a new ball.
Yeah, we've seen a number of different conditions since this national championship tournament has started. Grass is damp now as the sun has gone down.
Again, the Bulldogs presumably had their alarm set a little bit earlier for wake up today than the Seagulls. Bulldogs played in the first game. Seagulls played in the 4th. Seagulls turn right back around to face the Bulldogs. And there'd be different ways to spin it as to who would be more ready for this one. Presumably the Bulldogs riding the high of an impressive win earlier today as opposed to a team that was just run ruled less than a half hour prior. But for Salisbury, if they were going to lose, that run rule loss may have been better than dragging it out for a few more innings. They're able to reshift focus, strike first in the first inning. As Lednam sends this foul out of play. And most recently, Abby Mace. A 2-run shot here in the 6th inning.
And Lednam, someone that can get overlooked because she hasn't had the power numbers that she's traditionally had in years past, but a key part of this lineup in the defense for the Seagulls. Someone consistent who gets the job done on both sides of the ball.
Fifth batter of this inning. Trying to complete a comeback with the season on the line. Martin, that one gets through. Thought she had made a great stop on a quick one hop. But even the Bulldogs defense vulnerable.
Designated player, number 4, Megan Reed.
We've talked about it all day today, Lincoln, how important it is, again, to challenge defenses, put the ball in play, put the ball on the ground specifically, especially in those moments where you're still needing to chip away offensively, manufacture some runs to get ahead here.
It is an error on Martin. Here's Megan Reed. Tying run is on the base paths. Reed, your cleanup hitter, 0 for 2 today against Strother. Salisbury an efficient 3 runs on 3 hits. TLU 4 runs on, or pardon me, yes, 4 runs on 6 hits, each with an error. That error from the Bulldogs came just a moment ago to extend this 6th inning and allow the cleanup hitter Megan Reed to come up with 1 on. Reed out towards left center. Jordan has it, but not before. Salisbury down by 3, gets a 2-run blast from Abby Mace to make this one interesting and pull the Seagulls within 1.
Francesca Katina, and back at second base for the Seagulls, number 7, Carly Galbraith. Katina back in left, Galbraith at second for Salisbury.
Home half of the 6th inning. As, again, going strong, Savannah Sheets in her start here in this second game for Salisbury. Reminder, we still have Berry and Eastern coming up in a similar clash. Same stakes, both teams with a loss, even though Berry started today 1-0. As teams from Georgia and Connecticut collide following this matchup between Texas and Maryland. Bulldogs briefly trailed 1-0 going into the bottom of the first before they had an answer. They've been leading 4-1 until Mace's 2-run home run in the top half of this inning. Here's Faith Hernandez leading things off out of the 5 spot here in the 6th inning. She's had a couple of ground outs to her counterparts so far. Tomorrow could be anywhere from 2 to 4 games. Mentioned CNU and Trine each just need to win 1 to move on to the best of 3 game championship series. Hernandez pulls this one out of play, foul. Again, still a double elimination tournament through tomorrow. After tomorrow, 2 teams will have a clean slate regardless of how these first few days went. This one will get down in the gap. Faith Hernandez 1 for 3 today. Trying to kickstart something here for the Bulldogs.
First base, number 14, Laura Hernandez.
Good piece of situational hitting, not much to say there. Faith Hernandez again, been a consistent bat for the Bulldogs. And Bulldogs have not relied on the long ball, or haven't had to, really, so far in this tournament.
Wade Wilson with a pinch runner coming up. As he's going to go to Lindsey Liao for a second time this week, the freshman out of Corpus Christi. Every run critical. Again, I just think they're making sure everybody's actually listed on the lineup as being available on the roster card. Because this is a challenging process getting a pinch runner on.
The biggest thing I'm going to be concerned with if I'm on the Salisbury side is worrying about what that's doing for my pitcher. Interrupting the rhythm that Sheets has had all game. And if I'm the Bulldogs, you know, potentially maybe even cutting that momentum that Faith Hernandez just generated with that single.
If Salisbury had not scored those 2 runs, you would, in the back of your mind, be thinking about Bulldogs, you cannot allow them to put up an 8th run before the end of this inning. Salisbury feels a lot better about their chances of seeing another inning or 2. Lindsey Liao has yet to enter this ballgame as a pinch runner. There's been a lot of comparison of paperwork for every substitution made these past couple of innings. You think about how little turnaround time there's been between ball games, and you just wonder if at some point something could have been lost in the hustle and bustle. Because my assumption right now is whether or not they believe some of these players were properly indicated as being available to come off the bench. Of course, we recognize them from previous games. That's irrelevant from one game to the next. And Liao has now been given the green light
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen.
to run for Faith Hernandez.
First for Texas Lutheran, number 77, Lindsey Liao. Liao pitch running for the Bulldogs.
Here we go, Sam. Here we go, Sam.
And they're going to bat for Laura Hernandez as well. And we don't need to explain now what's going on.
for both teams. I'm glad we've got that sorted.
Lexi Coward brings her bat to the plate, the freshman from Rockwall, Texas.
Number 3, Lexi Coward.
She does not have a hit on the year. It's her 26th appearance this season. We actually saw Lexi last year get to throw a couple pitches late in that third and final championship game when it was out of hand. Puts down a bunt. Coward will try to beat it out, cannot. It was not fielded cleanly, but nice recovery. By the way, your first baseman right now for Salisbury is your other twin, Ellen Stockman, over there at first, in place of Myers.
And like you shared, Lincoln, great recovery. Obviously eager to make that out.
I want to make it clear, we're not just replaying this clip over and over of Coach and our home plate umpire. You've got to have some pretty good penmanship if you're going to be a head softball coach. If you're a sloppy rider, go be a doctor.
Your attention, please. Pinch hitting for Texas Lutheran, number 15, Olivia Prinz.
Here's Olivia Prinz making her debut. The freshman from Georgetown, Texas, just north of Austin. So Lindsey Leal, your runner on second. Pinch running for Faith Hernandez. Coward put down that bunt. That will not affect her 0-0-0 batting average. This one shot out towards the gap, and it'll get down. Now with only one out, Leal had to hesitate, but somehow manages to score. My goodness. With only one out, Leal had to freeze at second, and she still advances 120 feet home.
And the speedy Leal. And I'd love to
So it's an RBI
see that
for
play again. Let's take a look at Windsor. It looks like Windsor doesn't think that she took the right angle, doesn't think that she can make that catch. Ball might have dropped a little bit, might not have traveled quite as far as Windsor thought it would.
Now Prinz with the pinch hit RBI will now come off a hero as Riley Futrell, another freshman who's been a pinch runner this year, will come on.
Running for the Bulldogs, number 25, Riley Futrell. Now batting, center fielder, Chastity Rains.
And back to your regularly scheduled program of Chastity Rains, batting for herself after all these changes. Runners on the corners. Futrell on third. Running for Prinz, who batted for Metzger. Chastity Rains on first with her single.
My correction, third baseman, number 8, Randall D.
That'll bring up the 9th spot in this lineup, Randall D. And let's see if that was the last pitch from Savannah Sheets, your starter here in the second game of the day for Salisbury. We will step aside and answer the question that you have in mind. Who's next in the circle for Salisbury? Who can get those final 2 outs to get them back to the plate? From right field to the circle, Lindsey Windsor, first team All-American pitcher of the year in the Coast to Coast Conference. We now see her make her 3rd appearance in the circle in 3 games. She got the first 2 starts. As she comes on here in relief, just trying to keep this a 2-run deficit for the Seagulls. Yes, she'll keep her bat in the lineup, by the way. 9-hitter Brandolyn D, 5th batter this inning. And a free bag for Chastity Rains, who moves into scoring position. And there goes a traditional threat of a double play.
Well, and Salisbury very much still in this game. Going with their ace Windsor. Give the Bulldogs a different look. Force them to make adjustments here.
This inning began with Faith Hernandez leading off with a single. Lindsey Leal would run on her behalf, ultimately come home on the RBI double from Prinz. Pinch hitting for Metzer. They're running for Prinz with Futrell right now. And she's on third, Rains on second, nobody on first. Brandolyn D is the only sense of normalcy right now in this lineup, with a lot of new names, several freshmen involved. With one out, pops up the bunt, and a diving catch by Stockman. And the first person to high-five her twin sister. It's like the rest of us in a mirror in the morning.
And a great play there by Stockman. And that's really the moment that you can shift the momentum for your team. A game-changing play there by Ellen Stockman. Twin sister excited for her.
Ellen and Emily out of Brunswick, Maryland. Brunswick High. She's come in at first base. More than capable. Wade Wilson not choosing to pinch hit for Kelly Jordan. 3 stolen bases this game, has been caught stealing by people several states away.
I hope one day I can come up with some of these jokes as fast as you can. I mean, just you're churning out the one-liners, and it's been a long day.
It helps when you're fresh. Just a little under 5 games in. Might have a coffee run after this.
Yeah, you want to call one more after this?
Just one?
Just one.
No balls, 2 strikes to Kelly Jordan, who's reached base all 3 times, 2 singles and reached on an error as well, has scored twice. And we are past the point. A teammate of hers has fallen down and is maybe injured. Nope, back up, throw home. It was not by design, would have been a nifty idea, but the Seagulls are out of the inning. I have to believe, with all sincerity, Chastity Rains did trip while retreating back to second. Seagulls able to take advantage. It's a 2-run ball game. Ashlyn Strother so far has thrown every pitch today for the Bulldogs in 2 ball games. As we move on to the 7th inning. She needs just 3 outs. She'll be 2-0 today.
And Strother throwing a hell of a game. What is this, her 14th inning?
Her Bulldogs got back one of those runs that they conceded in the top half of last inning. I love that both coaches can agree on something. Enter, re-enter, run, hit.
Hop, skip, jump.
Couple of good ones with their teams among the 6 remaining playing for a national championship. Have we just seen our first trade here in Salem? Ashley Strother, ready to go. As Lauren Myers set to lead things off, it'll be the 5, 6, and 7 spots in this lineup. They are a combined 0 for 6 against the All-American today. We'll see if that prompts the idea to make any changes along the way. For Lacey Lord.
I think we're trying to re-enter here.
That's why I've stayed put.
Myers.
Everybody's shaking their head. Everybody's on the same page. We got protocols.
Oh, I would love to have an ear in that conversation between those two coaches. Spicy. It's a spicy time.
I don't think Seagulls can taste spice.
Chase Hernandez back in short.
Top of the 7th.
Number 44, Kylie
And Seagulls need to score at least twice this inning.
enters the number 4 position in the TLU lineup. Number 20, Sarah Metzer back behind home plate. And re-entering the contest for Salisbury, leading off the 7th, first base, Lauren Myers.
First pitch to Myers. As we can confirm, it is Metzer back behind home plate after they had pinch hit for her and then run for their pinch hitter, all in that spot. Last year's national runner-up, the only team that made it back this year. Tufts and Virginia Wesleyan were close. This one out towards center, committing forward is Chastity Rains. And hopefully you don't need heart medicine if you're cheering on the team from Texas. She committed in on that one, but was able to get back and recover.
Shortstop, number 5,
One away.
Natalie Paoli.
And sometimes the way the ball spins, the way the ball looks in the lights can be deceiving. Glad Rains was able to recover on a relatively routine fly ball.
Natalie Paoli 0 for 2 today against Strother, including a strikeout back in the 5th inning. Mentioned was robbed of a base hit by Faith Hernandez at short back in the 2nd. On deck, it is scheduled to be Emily Stockman. As the bunt popped back, count even at 1-1. Barry Vikings waiting in the wings to take on the Warriors of Eastern Connecticut State. Right now, Bulldogs and Seagulls, each 1 win, 1 loss this week. Only one of them can play again tomorrow. Seagulls certainly helped themselves out with 2 runs last inning. Bulldogs pulled 1 back. But very manageable here. Just need 2 to force the Bulldogs to bat again.
And Paoli having the opportunity to shift things for her team offensively after she was able to shift momentum defensively with that tag of Kelly Jordan in earlier innings.
That was yours. It's Strother now taking her time, understandably. She's thrown 188 pitches on this day. The 2-2. Lofted out towards left, Jordan towards the wall, gone. It's a 1-run ball game in the top of the 7th. Natalie Paoli, for the 6th time this year, the All-American conquers the confines.
And again, the ability for any player on this Salisbury squad to shift momentum. Paoli able to send that ball up and out.
What a comeback this would be for Salisbury, as they have been given every reason to not lift their heads up with optimism, but battling back here. Second home run over the last 2 innings for Salisbury. We mentioned that was a big run last inning, though, for the Bulldogs. It's the difference right now. This is Emily Stockman, the catcher, trying to break an offer of her own. She's got a couple home runs this year. And Strother is just shy now of 200 pitches. 17 strikeouts on the day, 13 of which in that first ball game. Been a different journey here. Count 2-2 to Stockman. Abby Mace, 2-run blast last inning. Natalie Paoli, 1 out solo shot here. That'll hit Stockman in the box. Foul ball keeps the count at 2-2.
It's hard to believe after all the softball we watched today that these two teams are playing for their season, or playing to extend their season.
Yeah, this will be the toughest journey for the Bulldogs after they cruised to that title in 2019, topping Emory in the final rounds. Last year coming up short against Virginia Wesleyan. Poked out and dropped by the second baseman, Martin. Rain started to pull up in center. And the tying run is on for the Seagulls with just 1 out.
Well, it looks like Martin hesitates a little bit, maybe loses it in the light. Based on the angle I'm trying to predict. Taking a look at what we've got here. That's a tough break there for the Bulldogs. Almost would say give it up to Rains on that one.
Here's
got a better angle.
Carly Galbraith, for whom they pinch hit last inning when Challenger was hit by pitch. And the Seagulls find a way to move the runner around. 1 run to tie, 2 to take a lead here in the 7th inning. Wade Wilson still going with his All-American. And another 2-strike count.
And here's the thing, ideally, softball being a team sport, even though sometimes it feels very individual based on statistics. Strother doing her job here, throwing strikes, making it as easy as possible for her.
They're going to appeal, did not go.
Ooh.
So Galbraith remains at the plate, still just 1 out.
Strother doing her job here. Got to have your defense laying out for some of these.
This is the
plays.
bottom half of the lineup coming through. 8-hitter at the plate right now. Count stays at 1-2.
I was grumbling in earlier games about how many strikeouts we've seen where players are just caught looking. We actually have seen the end of the lineup for many teams being the ones with the most aggressive at-bats and the most aggressive strikeouts. And I'd rather have a strikeout swinging all day than let that one go by and not be able to take my cuts.
Galbraith has continued to fight these off. It's a fair ball. Touch the bag, 2 away. It does move Stockman, the tying run. Is there anybody left for coach to to consider using as a pinch runner? Are they happy with their catcher out there? That's me just playing on stereotypes. Wade Wilson's going to come out and talk to his pitcher, who's thrown every pitch today. 98 pitches in this one after 107 earlier today. The All-American Ashlyn Strother still with a lead to work with, but that tying run in scoring position. Carrie Jacoby is about to come to the plate.
Your attention, please. Pinch running at second for Salisbury, number 27, Taylor Scott.
And Taylor Scott, your pinch runner.
Also pinch hitting for the Seagulls, number 23, Carrie Jacoby. Jacoby now batting.
Well, Jacoby bats, and I guess it was last game we saw her. I felt like it was earlier this game.
At this point, it could be at any time. Could have been any time today.
So Jacoby bats in the 9 spot.
Well, and hopefully at this point, Jacoby has been taking some mental at-bats in the dugout. I actually saw her on the field adjacent to this one, taking some cuts in between innings. So I know she's ready for this.
2 outs, pinch hitter, tying run on second in the top of the 7th with the season on the line. Bulldogs have no obligation to bat again today unless she scores. And Scott, the pinch runner, on second with 2 outs. 1-1 to Jacoby. Now 1-2.
And as a pinch hitter, one of the things you have to make sure that you're doing is settle into your body, make sure you've been taking a look, getting your timing down when your teammates are up to bat, have an idea of what you're going up there looking for, and then take your hacks.
Carey, listed at 5'3", has 3 home runs this year. Two and two. 5th batter this inning. We've already seen the solo shot from Natalie Paoli heighten the drama here in the 7th inning. 2nd straight inning. The Seagulls have gotten a home run and a comeback effort. There's a 2-run blast last frame. Jacoby, the 2-2, out towards center, tracked down by Rains, and that's your ball game. The Bulldogs play on tomorrow. We're down to 5 teams in Salem as we say farewell to one of the more decorated programs in Division III softball along the way. Salisbury came into today 1-0. Bulldogs came into today 0-1. And it's a 2-victory day with their season on the line for last year's runner-up, while Salisbury suffers defeat in back-to-back ball games.
And an incredible pinch hit at bat there for Jacoby, just doesn't happen to go her way. Rains able to snatch that ball out of the air. And again, an incredible performance from the TLU offense. And of course, Strother, her pitching 14 innings today, absolutely outstanding.
Came in today with 8 teams. We aim to leave with 4. We're down to 5 at the moment. We will address that discrepancy with one final game, a 6th game on the diamond tonight, as Berry and Eastern. Same consequences, same reward coming your way to close out tonight here on NCAA.com.